Good day. My name is Mike Flores. I serve as Chancellor of the Alamo Colleges District, and this is an episode of A Seat at the Table. I want to thank you for joining us and engaging with us over what should be an exciting conversation related to our return to campus. And we want to ensure that all of our faculty and staff, and especially our students, are return ready. And so we're also excited to continue our partnership with Texas Public Radio. And so we encourage you to stay tuned right after A Seat at the Table to join us with education reporter Camille Phillips in Take Two with TPR. So we encourage you to not only tune in, but also pose some questions related to our discussion. And we're really excited about the start of fall classes on August 23rd, just coming up in about 5 weeks. And we want to ensure that all of our students, as well as our colleagues, are ready for the fall semester. So I'm fortunate to be joined by two individuals. One is our board chair, Dr. Gene Sprague, who's with us today. And he's served for 27 years on the board, and his focus has definitely been on student success and ensuring that we continue to be prepared to support our community. And welcome, Dr. Sprague.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
And we're also joined by, there's 5,000 of us at the Alamo Colleges District, and so joined by Carla Frausto, who is the enrollment coach team lead here at Palo Alto College. And Carla has 6 years of tenure here at the Alamo Colleges District with Palo Alto College.
Yes, I do. Thank you for having me.
All right, so we're going to get straight to business in our conversation about Return Ready. And I'm going to ask Dr. Sprague just to talk to us, Dr. Sprague, a little bit about Return Ready. And we know that during your tenure and along with your colleagues on the Board of Trustees, the highest priority has been to ensure safety during this year and a half, but also to ensure the overall focus continues on student success. Can you talk to us a little bit about what the Alamo Colleges have done to support students during the pandemic?
Yeah, I'm glad to talk about it in terms of what we have done and also what we're planning to do. Because as some of us have realized, our colleges did an outstanding, in particular our faculty did an outstanding job of turning on a dime, of going from in-person lectures to online teaching. And that's not an easy transition. They did that, within a few days. So that was very dramatic. And that was supported by the board with the budget, funds from the Student Success Fund, and those same funds will be expanded a little bit this year to aid in the transition back, because it turns out that may be a more difficult road than the challenge of switching to online. One of the things we're not sure where our students are in terms of their preparedness, because they've been on remote. The ones coming from high school, some may have or may not have had good access to learning. So we're supporting with funds that transition, finding out what their needs are, and looking toward a successful year this year. Some of the things that were done for the students during this time included laptop loaners, internet hotspots, so they could use the laptops, and financial assistance. And that financial assistance occurred in a number of ways. Usual channels of Pell Grant, but also with special funding from the federal government in terms of 3 different programs, including the CARES Act. And one thing that we didn't want to have fall by the wayside is our advocacy programs for our students. Rather than, since they're online, rather than their need for help in the areas of food and shelter and health issues, turns out actually those needs are greater when we went online. And those have been not only maintained, they've increased, and also like with learning, we're supporting increased activity for advocacy centers in this coming year. So one of the nice things is, the great things is, because of those efforts, we had a very slight decrease in enrollment and contact hours. We were one of the few in the state and in the nation that didn't encounter double-digit decreases in enrollment. What's even better is our student success measures never faltered. Our retention stayed good, our grade point achievements, all that stayed good. So it's a remarkable tribute to our administration, our faculty, and our supporting staff. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sprague. As noted, and I know this was mentioned last night at the board meeting, is just the commitment of Dr. Sprague and your colleagues in ensuring support. And you had mentioned both the daunting task of moving virtually last March of 20 to remote, but it is also a little daunting in bringing kind of being ready to come back, something that we used to take for granted pre-COVID, but now we have to work on a little bit. So thank you for the insight. I think that provides to all of us. And what we wanted to do is actually is talk to someone that's been virtual, but is also now here face-to-face engaging, most importantly, with our students. So as I mentioned earlier, Carla Frausto is a team lead for our enrollment team. And so I wanted to ask you, Ms. Frausto, in particular, what did it look like early on with supporting students? Dr. Sprague mentioned about faculty, and then also what did it sound like from students to be able to be remote?
Yeah, so our like Dr. Sprague mentioned, our turnaround was very quick, right? Within a few days, we were having to figure out how to navigate going from in-person to virtual. So for us internally, we had to take a step back and really analyze, okay, well, what services do we provide in person, and how do we transition that to virtually? So we just did a couple things, like we created a virtual welcome center that's opened every day throughout operation hours, where students can join us at any point and meet with their enrollment coach to be able to get any assistance needed if they needed to submit, how to submit their bacterial meningitis, or how to apply to the college, how to do their financial aid. We were able to do that and assist them through that virtual welcome center. When it comes to our high school students, we're used to going to the high school and helping them there. So we transitioned into Zoom sessions with our high schools. We partnered with them to be able to provide our students or incoming class those services via Zoom as well. Another thing we noticed an intake and phone calls. So, we added the amount of people on our frontline phones to be able to support students through the phone because they were calling. They didn't know what was going on. How were they going to continue their courses? How did they get a hold of their advisor? Things like that. So we added staff to be able to support them through the phone. We increased our two-way communication for text messages. So we would text students, hey, if you need any assistance, this is where you can get a hold of us. This is how you call us. So that was really successful for us. And students seemed to love it. They really seemed to enjoy that. We got great feedback. So that was something that was really good for us.
Excellent. So in looking at being able to pivot very quickly and support students as noted remotely, now what does it look like that, the Welcome Center at Palo Alto College and actually all of the colleges are now open to serve and connect with students face to face once again? What is that? What are you hearing from students?
Yeah, so we get a little bit of everything. We have students who are still a little bit hesitant about coming back, mainly because they don't know exactly what we're doing here on campus. How are we keeping our staff and our students and our families safe? So we have that conversation with them about our procedures that we've worked very hard, with y'all's leadership to develop. We have students who are completely ready to come back and so excited that our doors are open and they can come and see somebody face to face and turn in a document, not having to do it online. We also have some students who feel that maybe it's okay to take a semester off, but that's where our certified enrollment coaches come in and have that very vital, important conversation with our students, saying, just explaining the importance of education and how that taking one semester off can change their future. So just having that dialogue with them about what education does for them, for their families, for their future, has really helped our students change their mindset of maybe they just wanted to stay back and work to, okay, I have these opportunities. I can do it virtually or I can do it in person, but the opportunity is there to continue my education. So those are the conversations with having with students. But overall, students are happy to be able to see somebody or do it virtually because our virtual services are still continuing. So they really like the flexibility that we're providing them.
Oh, that's excellent. So what if I were interested in perhaps I sat out a summer, right? I'm interested in coming back. I haven't registered. Or I just graduated, right? And it seems like in the South Side, several of the school districts, they actually had their graduations physically present in a football stadium, right?
did,
So
yes.
outdoors, but the traditional ceremony. What should I do as a graduating high school senior from South San High School? And I haven't done my paperwork yet. So what do I do first?
I would say give us a call.
Okay.
Give us a call. Go on our website. All the colleges have their virtual welcome centers on there. Their numbers are on there. If you've applied, you probably have an email from your enrollment coach saying, we're pending some steps or we're trying to get a hold of you. Check your email. Use your resources. If you still have contact with your high school counselor, they have contact with us. If you can't get a hold of us, and now that we're open, come to campus. Our hours are 8 to 7 right now in the summer, Monday through Thursday. So those use what the resources that are out there. And if you're a little bit hesitant, let's help you virtually or through the phone.
Well, great. So they can, that student from South San High School who's going to be an entering freshman, they want to come to Palo Alto College. So they can call 486-3100. They can speak with yourself, Ms. Frausto, or another enrollment coach.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And then classes start on
August 23rd.
Okay.
That's when they start. So sooner we can get you in here to get you registered, the better, just so classes don't run out. But yes.
Okay. And what are some other things that you're advising students as they're getting ready to come? Or perhaps somebody's been out for 5 years and they've taken some courses at SAC and now they work by here at Toyota and they want to come to take classes at Palo Alto.
I think those conversations, it depends on the situations and depends on the individual, if they're hesitant about coming to campus or not. So, we're providing all the options for them on maybe you want to do one class on campus just so you can get back into that feel. And then the other ones virtually, right? With your instructors, or maybe you're ready to come back full force to campus. The options are there. But I think for us, one important thing, and even for students to be successful, to make sure that they're comfortable coming back, that they understand all the precautions we've taken to make sure that we're being safe and they're being safe. So we're just having these conversations one-on-one if they have the questions. But overall, they just really grateful that we're in institutions that's providing them the flexibility to choose what's good for them and for their family, so they can feel supported and safe through their education.
Well, great. One of the questions, we have multiple questions. So one of those, I know that you mentioned in particular safety, and we had discussed that and that's a constant conversation both amongst all of us 5,000 employees, and definitely with the leadership of Dr. Sprague and the trustees. So I just want to talk about some simple protocols, right, that we follow. Or one is obviously that individuals can have the opportunity to be vaccinated. Definitely, we know much more, Dr. Sprague, right, about the novel coronavirus than we did this time last year.
Exactly.
So are there some other feedback that you would like to offer?
Well, I mean, most importantly, the vaccinations work. Okay. Sometimes we get, when there's a few cases that maybe have a breakthrough with a virus, I mean, it makes news. Okay, let's face it. But the truth is, you are much better off with a vaccination than you are without it. And it is effective. They are effective against the Delta variant. So I think we need to move to for our own safety and for the safety of those around us, and for a successful school year. Let's get vaccinated. No cost.
No cost. I want to thank Dr. Sprague for that feedback, and definitely the leadership and the articulation of that, because it's important, not only as a chair, of course, but your background is in health sciences. So,
Right.
yeah. I think that we would not, if we look back at a year ago, we probably wouldn't have been in this venue, right? And definitely, or it would have been a different structure. Actually, we were outside at our district building when we were having these conversations. The other part is not only the vaccination protocol, which definitely addresses COVID-19, but also just some added measures that we've taken. Health and safety officers that can screen and just ensure that you may not have any symptoms, and they give us all these wristbands, right, to be able to do that. And then and then individuals have the option, if they so choose, of masking as part of that.
Yeah, I'd like to just bring
Yes, sir.
something up when you said that. The idea of screening is really not that bad an idea for a long time. Not just for COVID, but for flu.
Yes.
And the message is, if you're a student, if you're a faculty member, if you're a staff member, and you don't feel well, we want you to stay home and take care of yourself.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that's kind of a new paradigm for a lot of people. They think, well, I'm a lot more loyal employee or student if I come, even if I'm sick. Not true.
Yes.
If you want to be
Right.
loyal, stay home and get well.
Well, there you go. And you heard it from our chair of the board. So a couple of things really quick. If that laptops and hotspots are still available, so you can call and work with the college IT departments. You can, of course, we're going to have everybody call 486-3100, and the enrollment coach, Gadla, and her colleagues will connect you to IT to be able to do that. Ms. Frausto did mention that we are flexible. So there are face-to-face classes at Palo Alto College and each one of the colleges and our centers. There are also our traditional online classes, which are internet courses that we've offered for decades, actually. And then there are still some Zoom classes
Correct.
that are still available. And that was something that will probably stay with us because it's convenient for students. An important question, Kadla, is do I need an appointment to talk to an enrollment coach?
No, you don't. You can give us a call. You can walk into our welcome center. As we mentioned, our virtual services are still open, so you just have to join our Zoom link, and there will be somebody there waiting to assist. So you do not need an appointment for an enrollment coach.
Well, excellent. So what we want to leave with as we conclude this conversation is that definitely we've learned a lot in the last year and a half. We have been aligned all the way from our chairman of the board, Dr. Sprague, all of the trustees, and all 5,000 of us to support our 65,000 students. We were fortunate that we didn't miss a beat, and our students definitely didn't
Right.
as part of that journey, and that we have resources available for all of our students, whether that is being able to have a laptop, a hotspot, being able to connect with either an enrollment coach or your academic advisor, also faculty to ensure that you're successful. Fall classes start on August 23rd. The application deadline, which Ms. Frausto and her colleagues can assist you with, either face-to-face here at Palo Alto, any of the colleges, or online, is August 2nd. And the registration deadline is August the 17th. So you can start actually today. You can go step by step. You can work and contact one of our colleagues to get you started. And we want to ensure that you register for fall courses and that you continue to stay with us and you cross that finish line and earn your credential. Thank you for being with us today. I want to thank Dr. Sprague for continuing to be with us at a seat at the table.
Love it.
Thank you, sir. And I want to thank my colleague, Carla Frausto.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you. And now, if you stay tuned for Texas Public Radio, it takes Take Two with TPR with Camille Phillips. Thank you all.
Good afternoon and welcome to Take Two with TPR. I'm Camille Phillips, the education reporter at Texas Public Radio here in San Antonio. You're listening to Take Two with TPR in partnership with the Alamo Colleges District. It's basically a second act, if you will, following a Seat at the Table episodes. I'm here today with Alamo Colleges District Chancellor Mike Flores and Palo Alto College student Jennifer Gonzalez. And today's topic is returning to campus. We have under a month left before, I guess it's just right at a month before the start of the fall semester for the Alamo Colleges District. So time is winding down, but you do still have time to apply and register and start your fall semester. So that is something to keep in mind. It's not too late. So today, I think, it's a very pivotal year because we're kind of transitioning a little bit back more to on-campus, in-person learning. And that's kind of a big change from last year. So I want to hear first from Jennifer, if you don't mind, because you started out last year, right? As just started out at the cosmetology program during the pandemic. So you kind of had that experience. What was that like for you?
So I started in August 2020. It was different because I had already been attending school on campus prior to that. So registration, interviewing, all of that took place online on Zoom. It was a pretty easy process overall, I'd say. I think one of the big takeaways for me was that the advisors, they seemed to reach out more through email, through texting, just to make sure that, we're not forgetting some step along the way. So yeah, it was a little bit different, but also I felt like I had a lot of support there.
That's good. And you were one of the few students who did have some in-person learning opportunities last year, right? Because cosmetology is pretty hands-on.
Yes.
What was that like?
Well, at first, I was really nervous to return to campus. We had members of my family that get sick with COVID. Some even pass away. So I was pretty shaken up, about coming back on campus. But then when I got here, I noticed that they're doing temperature checks. You get color-coded bands every day. They change. You don't really know what color band, so you can't sneak it on. So that made me feel just a little more comfortable with coming on campus. And then plus in the classrooms, we have dividers. We're spaced from each other. And then we just are working on one another, not so much the public at that time. So it made me feel just more comfortable about being on campus.
I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
I think a lot of people are in your situation this year. It's not been an easy year for
Right,
everyone.
definitely.
And I think that is something as a community college district as well, you all are thinking of, Dr. Flores, right? Just like how you can support those students through all they've experienced and still keep them on the path to getting a degree. I wanted to ask, I guess, first of all, maybe I'll let you respond to that. What do you have plans in place to kind of meet students like Jennifer Gonzalez where they are after a not easy year?
I think, one of the most important things is ensuring, that Jennifer and all of our students feel supported and connected to the college, and to the faculty. I think it's affirming, definitely for me to hear that you felt that there was more of a connection during the last year and a half, because it has been a challenging period of time, and not only for our students, but also for their families.
Right.
And everything that you've confronted and everything that you and your families have experienced. So I think that has been the most daunting thing, I think, for all of us. But I think Jennifer's statement is also very affirming for us. And so the feedback and the voices and the experiences during this last year and a half are what have been critical for us to move forward.
Makes sense. And I wanted to ask some of those things that Jennifer mentioned, the temperature check, the daily screening, are those still going to be in place this fall?
Yes. So I think, the temperature checks, the screenings, the other part, which for Jennifer and other colleagues that were on campus during the last year and a half, was the use of PPE, right, to be able to ensure the masking, and then the additional safety protocols as part of that. All of the buildings, have the HEPA filters that we've installed. Even as we come back, we also, as part of return, have sought to incentivize and affirm the value, as noted by our board chair, Dr. Sprague, of vaccination, to be able to do that, even incentivizing faculty, staff, full and part-time, as well as students, to look at that. So definitely we've learned, and we continue to learn more about that. Want to ensure that the Jennifer current students are able to complete their programs on time and are able to continue to feel supported and connected, and that also prospective students will opt in, right? I think that's the other part. Many of our students are kind of weighing the opportunity costs, right? So can I afford to go to school? And if I do go to school, am I going to work less hours? And then what impact does that have on my household budget, right? And helping out, paying just bills on a daily basis, or perhaps helping out a parent or helping out others.
Yeah, it's not just a 1, 2, 3 decision.
No.
But you have enrollment coaches and advisors available that can help them make those decisions and know what their options are, right, as far as financial and otherwise.
Yeah, we have caring professionals, right? So either faculty members, the advisors, and enrollment coaches that Jennifer mentioned earlier, that are teamed and partner with our students to ensure they can move forward.
I wanted to ask you, you talked about opportunities to get vaccines. Are those going to be on campus? Like when, where will there be vaccines available? What's the best route?
Yeah, so I think, we actually had a fantastic partnership with University Health System and had a vaccination clinic at St. Philip's College as part of that. But things have shifted. University Health, as you know, actually closed, right, and transitioned their clinic that was at Wonderland or Crossroads Mall. So we encourage individuals to go to our website where we have the safety measures and we also have vaccination information. I think the nice thing now is that there are multiple locations to get a vaccine. We will prior to August 23rd, and then during the semester have pop-up vaccination clinics at the colleges.
Jennifer, are you going to be more in person this fall? What's your plan for classes?
My understanding is that we're going to be at 75% come the fall. So for me, I'm hoping that means because our cosmetology group, we're divided up into groups of 6 or 7. And so a lot of us have only seen each other online. So I'm really looking forward to being just a big group in the salon. So yeah, I will be on campus. Hopefully we'll be able to be around more people. And I know the doctor mentioned earlier that we were using the PPE and the masks, and that I just wanted to touch on that was just another level of protection that did help with making me feel safe. I mean, we were doing facials with smocks and the shields and the face masks, and we were really sweaty doing it, but also just really protected, really safe.
That makes sense. That's kind of hard to give someone a facial with a mask on them.
Yeah, well,
right?
we had full coverage, and then we had to work around the mask. But yeah, so they got facials except for their mouth area.
Sounds good. And you've got plans then to graduate in December. Is that right?
Graduation in December. Yes. So
Exciting.
I'll be taking the advanced hair cutting, advanced hair coloring, and then preparing for the practical exam for the state board.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah,
Congratulations. Dr. Flores, before we go, I did want to ask just how confident are you about your return to campus more? Are you feeling good about the plan you have in place? And do you feel like students should feel comfortable as well?
Yeah, I feel very comfortable. I think the main thing is to ensure that our students feel supported and that they, along with my colleagues, have peace of mind that we're mindful both of safety and success and support. At Palo Alto, all 5 of our colleges and our centers. And we're always monitoring the situation, right? As we have the last year and a half. And I just want to thank all of my colleagues, our faculty and staff, and congratulate all of our students. So Jennifer and all of our students who persevered, right, through what was a challenging year and a half, and are hopeful and looking forward to the launch of the fall semester.
Yes, definitely.
Most importantly, crossing the finish line, right? Graduation.
Absolutely.
I know we're out of time. I did want to ask though, 75%, that's the idea right now?
It's yes, the plan is actually 75%, and it could be over 75%. We have about 15% of our courses that are internet. So when we look at that, then we're actually close to 100.
That makes sense. But you do have those phase-ins. So if something were to severely change between the situation now and then, you could go back to the previous policy. All right.
Yeah, definitely. We're, like I said, we're monitoring the situation, the community incidence rate, and everything else. We're monitoring with Metro Health and also with the CDC and then Austin. So we're hopeful.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much for staying tuned to Take Two with TPR. And we're talking about return to campus today. So it's coming up before you know it. We're here with Dr. Flores, our Chancellor of the Alamo Colleges District, and Jennifer Gonzalez, Palo Alto College cosmetology student. Thank you so much. Have a good day.